Hello and welcome to Tech This Week. I'm Payal Ganguly and I'll be bringing you up to speed with the week's developments. As we entered the second week of the lockdown, we saw chaos around the announcement subside slightly, though the policy moves are still being conjured up as we go along with the unprecedented shutdown to control the COVID pandemic. Earlier this week, the Ministry of Home Affairs had announced the formation of 11 empowered groups which would be looking at various aspects of enforcement of the 21-day lockdown and relief measures required to counter the pandemic. The groups will be in charge of medical emergency management plans. They will facilitate the supply chain and logistics management for essential goods, take economic and welfare measures, as well as ensure medical equipment is available when needed. They will also deal with strategic issues related to the lockdown. The InterMinisterial Groups have already held their first meetings to look at measures such as arranging for food for migrant workers and those in need, in partnership with NGOs and other civil society groups. Another outcome of the empowered group is the formation of a fact-checking portal to prevent the spread of misinformation around COVID-19. A new policy move which did not cut it with industry players, however, came into being. This was the regulation on doorstep delivery of medicines. A government order released by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare said that the delivery personnel ferrying medicines have to have a license and that medicines to be supplied have to be procured from the same revenue jurisdiction. What this means is that a patient from, say, Delhi can only avail of medicines which are in stock in Delhi. These guidelines are new and cover both physical stores as well as e-pharmacies, which are exempted from the lockdown under the category of essential service providers. It is to be noted that there are no clear regulations on the e-pharmacy sector, as the government is still working on a set of guidelines which were first introduced in 2018. Industry body IAMAI wrote to the ministry to reconsider the order. Which brings us to the sum total of the government measures undertaken to fight COVID-19, which was a part of a comprehensive status report filed by the Home Secretary with the Supreme Court. This was in response to a PIL filed by Advocate Alok Srivastav in Apex Court, asking what steps were taken to alleviate the problems being faced by migrant workers who are stranded due to cancellation of all transport systems in the aftermath of the lockdown. Apart from listing out steps taken, the report also asked the court to direct media outlets, including broadcast, print and websites, to report only verified news from government sources to prevent spread of misinformation, which the Supreme Court complied with promptly. For all COVID-related news, the daily press briefing by the government departments is the only source as of now. On the industry side, COVID-19 has led to a grinding halt in services, investments, and business as usual. Indian SaaS firms who count small and medium businesses in the US as their target market have seen business come to a halt. New deals are not being closed. They hope to revive as soon as the conditions turn favorable though. Till then, most of them are extending free softwares for collaboration and customer support given the current work from home directive. NASSCOM Vice President K.S. Vishwanathan told us that several cloud and deep tech startups will see an uptick in demand, much like the cybersecurity firms, owing to the work from home mandates of the companies. After that silver lining, a not so sunny news. The last week also saw announcements of salary cuts for employees across levels at multiple startups. While the founders decided to forego 100% of the salary, employees have had to contend with a rated basis of salary cut depending on their pay scale. Employees at scooter sharing startup Bounce, as well as SoftBank-backed budget hospitality chain Oyo, were subject to salary cuts. There were also reports of layoffs at insurance provider Acko, owing to the macroeconomic factors. There are likely to be more such announcements if the current scenario is something to go by. For all these stories and more, log on to techcircle.in and subscribe to our newsletter. Also do check our live blog for the latest updates from the tech, startup and policy world in these times. Stay safe and hope you have a great weekend.